Now the MIDI out is going from the Nord into the MIDI in of the Yamaha. So you'll hear if I play the chord on the Nord, it's coming out the speaker of the Yamaha. Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you all about MIDI, how you can do some basic MIDI setups with just a MIDI cable, and I'll show you how to link keyboards together. I had a few people asking questions about a video I did earlier. I'll throw to it here, how I set up this stand for the Nord Electro 3. Some people were asking me, how do I get one piano to control the sound of the other and so forth. It might be a simple topic for some of you, but I'll explain how you use MIDI and what it is. MIDI was invented like in the late 70s, I think. Maybe it started getting used a lot in the 80s. I think it's good to think of it like USB cables before there were USB cables. It's basically a 5-pin cable that you use, and basically it captures a lot of data. MIDI captures velocity, like how hard or soft you hit the notes. It captures, you can use MIDI to connect your pianos to a computer and from a computer so that you can record all of what you play into sheet music. And there are many uses for MIDI. There's other MIDI devices, drums, electronic drums, and anyways, we'll talk about the basics today of how we use MIDI to control one piano with another. They call it master slave. There's all this terminology. Don't worry about it. All we need to know is it works kind of like audio cables. There's in and out. So if you look at the back here, this is pretty much a deal breaker. I have to have this when I have when I buy a piano. It has to have MIDI I/O. I don't want just a USB. I want a MIDI I/O. About the setup that we have. So we have a Yamaha piano here. Okay, and that's just the native speaker. So you see when I turn the dial down, there's nothing. Okay, so the speaker is built into the piano. And then we have the Nord, which is connected to a speaker over there. I have a Roland speaker. And if I turn the volume down on that, there's nothing, okay? So I'm going to show you how we're going to connect one way and then the other way. Okay, we're going to take the MIDI out of the Nord. So anything I play in the Nord is going to connect. Now let's see if I can get back here to the MIDI in down here. Where is it? Here it is. You just have to believe me that it's in there. It's hard to see. So I'm connecting to the MIDI in of the Yamaha. Now the MIDI out is going from the Nord into the MIDI in of the Yamaha. So you'll hear if I play the chord on the Nord, it's coming out the speaker of the Yamaha. Okay, so I'm using this piano to control the sounds of this piano, right? You can hear they sound the same. So it's like the sounds of this are being controlled by this Nord Electro. That's not great because this piano has some okay sounds on it, but the sounds on this Nord are much better. We can't hear them right now because it's connected through MIDI. So now let's do it the other way. Let's connect the MIDI in to the Nord, and let's connect the MIDI out of this Yamaha piano. So I just reversed it. So the MIDI now is coming out. Anything I play on this piano, the Yamaha, is coming out and is going into the MIDI in of the Nord Electro 3 to trigger the nice sounds on the Electro 3. So now if I turn the volume, where'd it go? Where'd that go? Okay. Now I turn the volume up on the Nord, and I'm playing this, so you hear, so I'm using this Yamaha to control the sounds on the Nord. So if I want to play any sound on this Nord, use the effects. Okay, this is just a dummy, board. I'm just doing this for the nice weight of the keys, and I'm using the nice sounds on the Nord. I think that piano sounds a lot better than the one that's native to the Yamaha. It doesn't sound, it's okay maybe for gigs and so forth, but for recording I really would prefer to use the sounds off this Nord. So So, you know, with a little simple cable that costs, you know, $5–10, it's really powerful. You can do a lot. That's just breaking the ice. You know, that's just the beginning of this. You can use MIDI not only to go between keyboards like I'm showing you here, but you can send this into the computer, and I actually do. I actually use a MIDI splitter in my full setup. This is made by MIDI Solutions. It's a little dusty. Just a normal splitter. You send one MIDI in here. So the way I use it is I send the Yamaha in here because that has the nice action, the nice feel of the keys, and then you can send it to 4 sources. So I send one to this piano like I'm doing right now. You know, just to. Oh no, I disconnected it, so it's not doing it right now. But anyways, what you just saw, I'm sending one to the Nord, and I'm sending another one actually into the computer to do some virtual instruments with strings and so forth, so that's separated. But that's not hooked up right now. But just showing you that, well, of what you can do with MIDI. And a lot of people were asking, you know, how do you do this? Because, you know, something like a Nord Stage 3 or like a more expensive, nice weighted Nord or even Yamaha motif, or some of these more expensive keyboards that are nice, have good sounds in them. This is a way you can get that on the cheap. You know, you can buy an old Nord for $1,000, buy a nice weighted Yamaha for $500, and that's about half the price of what you would pay for one of these Nord Stage 3 or one of these other really expensive instruments. You can just do it kind of yourself, and you end up with 2 keyboards, you know. I'm gonna continue rewiring the studio here. We're still in the middle of this. I'll have another video out. I don't know if it'll come before or after, but it's a whole remodeling of the studio. Go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed this. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Helps me a lot. Really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments if you have any more questions about MIDI or what you think about MIDI. How do you use MIDI to do your own equipment? I've seen people use it on drums and stuff, so that's you know, exciting. So